I remember from a long time ago, and I mean, since when I was putting this show together, I'm like, oh, that one just came to mind. And before that, Humphreys McGee, pardon me, a new group that I have just, again, fallen in love with. I mean, I have dug music my entire life. It's just part of the reason why I do this. And just keep finding these fabulous artists, and I'm happy to share them with you. The reason for Rock the Boat, it really had everything to do with, kind of go back to what I was talking about earlier, which is we create these situations in our life, and many people have a hard time even accepting that. I'm not to blame. I didn't do that. And I beg to differ, because sometimes it may be so, it may not be transparent. I mean, it may not just be right there in front of you, but if you spent time and recognized how you were feeling or what you were thinking about the situation, a chunk of time before things kind of started falling apart, before the breakdown, right? You have a real good, you can actually take a look and go, yeah, I really didn't want this. I really didn't want it. So it's, I can see why this happened. And, it may not be really clear as to all the things. It's not about blame. So it's not about like, well, I did this wrong. It's just about what we were putting out there. I'm, again, just as guilty of this as anybody else. Nobody is immune to creating these situations. And it really is all about, well, like DJ Mike B finished up with, it's all about love, right? It's all about learning to love ourselves. First, that love of ourselves will create the stability that will help improve our health. I can promise you, that is a promise. The kinder we are to ourselves, the more love that we show to ourselves, first and foremost, we're going to be able to spread the love, right? We'll find it easier to be kinder to one another. And again, kindness doesn't mean that we're out there, blowing smoke, lying to people's faces just to be nice. I'm not talking about doing nice. I'm talking about being nice, being kind. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is to turn the other way and ignore the things that we don't like and keep our mouths shut. There's a lot of, it's not about not being able to speak your mind, but if you can't speak your mind from a place of love, then please don't speak your mind. What are you trying to create is the question I have. What is it that each one of us wants to create? And can we be more intentional with, if we are seeking stability, if we're seeking kindness, if we're seeking peace, what can we do on the streets with people that we know to create that? What words are our words are our tools. And ultimately healing our own bodies through, and I'm not saying that love is the only thing we need. The world that we have collectively created is an interesting one. And we have, on some level, designed it as a means to have us step up, to recognize what we did, and what is it that we were really, because there's something to be said for really creating from a point of clarity as opposed to need to control. The more we need to control, the more unstable things become, because there will always be something to control. The more we seek to understand, the more there is to know. Sometimes understanding is just that. It's just kind of like the whole kindness thing. Sometimes understanding is just recognizing the fact that we're all human, we're all going through stuff. We are all struggling to be kind to ourselves. I'd like to believe that there is at least one individual that walks around 100% of the time that is completely kind and loving towards themselves and has absolutely no harsh thoughts about anything or anyone. I don't believe it. I don't believe it because we're human. It's part of the experience. That's what transmutation is. It's learning to take that and transmute it into something that is more beneficial, that actually creates what we say we want. So therefore, if what we're looking for is stability, the best thing we can do is to be kind and loving towards ourselves first, because at that point, like I said, we can spread the love. We will genuinely be more loving and kind to somebody else. And again, it doesn't necessarily involve words. It could just be the simple act of tuning out the things that you see that you don't like, keeping your mouth shut until you can absolutely say something from the space of love. And at that point, maybe you can deliver a message that would be inspirational to somebody else. That's really what this is all about. And so rocking the boat is something I feel like we often do. Because if you think about it, if you're standing like on a dinghy, right? Have you ever been on a small boat and somebody starts to rock it? The first thing we do is we go to stabilize, right? That's the first thing we do is we go to stabilize. What if that's the first thing that we did when somebody started rocking the boat with us, right? We sought the perception of stabilization. Look, got to stabilize myself, get my footing before we said anything. At that point, we can have a powerful response instead of a freaky, fear-filled reaction. We're constantly rocking our own boat, let alone somebody else's. So what if we just, like I said, just imagine that we were on a boat. Just imagine you're on a boat when you're with somebody. I mean, what a great visual. You're on the boat and all of a sudden somebody starts rocking it, or maybe even you did because they said something that reminded you of something, and the next thing you know, you just lashed out or you reacted. How can you stabilize that boat so that the outcome is beneficial for all? It's not a win-lose, it's a win-win. And when we can do that with individuals, and we can begin to do that with if we do that, we're actually doing it for ourselves first. Do it for yourself. Because truthfully, the amount of emotional distress that we're putting ourselves through is keeping us in survival mode. It's keeping the body kind of locked in to instability. So we're doing it for ourselves. Don't worry about doing it for anybody else, do it for yourself. But I guarantee you, the more we do it for ourselves, the benefit to the world around us will be extraordinary, because then we'll be creating the space for others to be able to do the same. Because if we're not reacting to them, there's nothing for them to react to us. If they're going to be reacting to us in some way and we just turn the other cheek, we demonstrate and we're generous enough just to let them have that space, there's nothing that they can fight up against. This is the key to healing. And this is where life can turn around for everyone. Now I want to mention something for, what is it? That's what it is. It's a community reading time. Kira Hoffman is hosting a community reading time at the Ortiz Mountain Community Library, which is inside the Johnsons of Madrid Gallery. You can come every Friday at 10:30 for a free reading and craft time geared towards preschool age children. All are welcome, and the gallery is located at 2843 Highway 14 in Madrid. For more information, please contact Kira at 505-603-1863. And now that all the big kids are back in school, I think it'd probably be more fun for the little ones to be able to get together without the big siblings, right? I mean, I'm only speaking from my own experience when I was raising my kids. And when the antagonists were removed from the room, we had a more stable environment. Anyway, up next I have for you Rocky Ground by Bruce Springsteen.